YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and it finally happened. The Orlando Brown Jr. trade has gone down. We've been waiting for this forever. Been covering it here on YouTube and Twitter, and he's been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs from the Ravens, obviously. Bunch of picks involved. Wasn't expecting this many picks involved, so definitely changes up mock drafts, changes the draft in general, so pretty exciting stuff, some fun stuff here heading into the NFL draft. I'm going to break it down like I always do, and then I'll give grades out like I always do for these big-time trades. And then we'll have to update our mocks when we have that full NFL draft content on the way leading up to the draft, during the draft, after winners, losers, grades. Got a day 2 mock after day 1 hit. So best time of the year. Really excited. Hopefully you can join us, subscribe. Make sure you follow that Twitter. Just constantly talking about this news when it happens. A lot of the stuff I say on these videos, I say first on Twitter. And definitely a must-follow. Fan voted mock draft, covering the NFL draft on there. Link pinned in the comments section for that. Anything else that you need. Here's our Twitter at GoToSNFL. Again, we were talking about everything that was happening, all my thoughts on this trade, the second the rumors came out. So make sure you follow that. But the trade, Chiefs get Orlando Brown Jr. from the Ravens, of course, the left tackle. He doesn't want to be a right, left tackle for the Chiefs. Second round pick the Chiefs got. That was a pretty key piece that they got a second round pick back in this 2022 6th round pick. And then for the Ravens get the 31st pick. That's in the first round, of course. Third round, fourth round, 2022 5th round pick. Before breaking this down, I actually want to talk about other teams involved. I actually thought this could happen during the NFL draft, and why maybe it didn't. It didn't because the Chiefs obviously pulled the trigger, but the Chiefs were able to pull the trigger. They weren't a team that really needed to wait to be on the clock on draft night. They knew Orlando Brown's a good value here. They knew that he was better than any tackle option, specifically in the first round. Other teams, who else was mentioned to maybe be involved? Chargers picking as high as 13, Vikings, Washington football team, maybe the Bears and the Colts. Those teams didn't make this deal now. They may have on draft night. They wanted to wait and see who was on the board because they may rather have a Christian Darrisaw if he's there, for one example, or something. It could be a whole different position. They may rather do that than trade away picks. So I thought it made sense for those teams to kind of wait and not pull the trigger and just go too early here. So that would be the reason why it happened now, why it could have went down during the draft there, which was a possibility. But the Chiefs get it done. So the way I look at this, I was kind of talking about this on Twitter, really the way it is, Orlando Brown goes to the Chiefs. The Ravens get a 3rd and a 4th round pick for Orlando Brown. Then you have a swap, basically. The Ravens go from 2nd round to 1st round. So they get that 1st round pick. Some thought they would get 1st round value. They didn't really get that here because there was swaps involved and there was other picks involved. But they did get that 1st round pick, which was priority 1 there. So they do get that 31st pick. But yeah, there was I did not expect the Ravens to kind of give away picks like this, but they did. Not necessarily that it was a bad thing. We'll kind of get to the grades, but I didn't really expect that. I didn't really expect this many picks involved. It was good the Chiefs got that 2nd round pick. So to the grades, the Chiefs, I like this for the Chiefs. I gave it an A. They get a starting left tackle, which they needed in Orlando Brown. I don't think they gave away tremendous value. They gave a 1st round pick. We kind of felt that he was, around that, obviously. Getting that 2nd round pick is pretty important. That's pretty significant. Pretty much made it a swap, 1st, 2nd swap. It just feels like they gave up a 3rd, 4th, and they swapped. So now having 2 2nd round picks, which they are pretty good at drafting at here. They're good at drafting in general, the Chiefs. It's why they're very, very successful right now. But yeah, that was pretty significant, getting that 2nd round pick. Another good thing, Orlando Brown is actually fine playing on his current contract. He's going to need a pretty pricey extension after that. That kind of came with it, obviously, knowing that you have to do that. But he's actually fine on playing on that very cheap deal that is this year. So the Chiefs, who kind of had to shuffle through some cap space restructures this offseason, always limited on cap, mainly because they got good players. They had to pay good players in the past that are getting paid now. Makes sense. But Orlando Brown actually, is a very small hit this year. It'll be a hit when they extend him in the future, perhaps. And they have less picks, but they gained, they swapped, got a 2nd. They're picking twice in the 2nd round, but they don't have the 3rd, 4th. So that there's not much cap hit involved in there. Obviously, you'd rather have more picks, but that's why it's kind of a win in that area as well. But And then there was a question, does Orlando Brown fit every scheme? He does not. The Ravens ran specific blocking schemes, obviously. I think he fits what the Chiefs are trying to do as well. He didn't fit every team, in my opinion. It's an upgrade either way, though. Pass protection, very good run blocking tackle. That's going to get their young stud and Clyde Edwards-Helaire going. Getting him going makes the passing game better. Not that Mahomes needs the assist, but it's a bonus. It's a win. So it's going to make this team that much better. Again, better option than anybody they would have taken, at the 31st pick. Again, I keep mentioning that. Getting that second round was a little surprising in a way. What else was involved made it, I guess, less, but that was pretty significant. For the Ravens, I gave it a B. I originally was kind of thinking that A minus B plus range. Because they did get a first round pick out of it. They didn't really get first value because they had to send some things away, but they did get a third and a fourth. So that's all. Those are good things. And you kind of factor in, did they lose leverage? It kind of felt like it, which it's because Orlando Brown, the question was, if he had to, was he going to play right tackle this year? It didn't really feel like it. It felt like he just traded me, want to play left tackle, so I think factoring in that, which the Ravens fans, before the trade really disagree with me on that. They didn't think that was true at all, that he would have played if he had to, or they were just better off keeping him and just leave him on the bench if he wouldn't have played. That ended up not being the case, obviously, so I was surprised that people were arguing me about that. But I think, my opinion, because they did lose leverage because of that, what they got was fair. It's solid. The B range is still solid. But if you were one of the believers that they shouldn't have traded him for those reasons, or they shouldn't have allowed themselves to lose leverage, then you probably hate this deal for them. So I think, again, perfect world. I didn't want them to send back, second or 2 picks. They only gained 2 picks out of this. So perfect world, they could have gained more picks. But overall, I think the value is pretty much there. You almost, in a way, had to trade him. Did you absolutely 100%? Maybe not, but it almost feels close. And you got some things there. But what kind of stops it from being an A minus B plus, what I have to knock it down a little bit for, is the Chiefs. The team that you're competing with right now, and the team that you're competing with for a long time. You give them a young player who's going to be there for a long time to assist Patrick Mahomes and company. That hurts a little bit. I'm not going to dock a team completely. I gave them a good grade still for that, but that hurts a little bit that it was the Chiefs. So we don't know if they were the only team involved. You would have to think teams were interested in if scenarios, if this, that within the draft. So maybe they took a little less to get the deal done now too. We really don't. It's all assumptions with anybody. Somebody probably act like they know, but we don't, But they got picks back. They got a first out of it. They got a third and a fourth. It was a guy that didn't want to be there anymore, I guess. So that was pretty tough. But so overall, solid for the Ravens, because the Ravens teams. I feel like it's a team that's always going to be a good team. They got the right pieces. I mean, not always, but you know what I mean. In this era, they're a good team, and they're a contender. But for a contender, they do have some holes now. They need to fix the offensive line to create one with Orlando Brown, but already they had it at the receiver position, edge rush position. McPhee and Tyus Bowser right now, you definitely need to upgrade there. So that, that's something they can work, they can fix, but now they have 2 first-round picks, third and fourth, even though they did give up that second. So they have more ways to work with that. So that's, I guess that's overall the good thing there for the Ravens. But yeah, again, just a little surprised how many picks were involved with this, but it just based on leading up to this moment, since the Orlando Brown Jr. trade happened, it just seemed like people thought they were going to gain a first plus. Maybe it was Ravens fans, and they didn't really do that. So maybe those people aren't as high on it as I am, unless they changed their mind for some reason. But yeah, I think they did what they had to do in this situation, and they did get. I still think they got pretty solid value. That's my opinion. Yeah, so an A for the Chiefs, a B for the Ravens. Overall, it's good. This trade it felt like it was going to happen at one point. Kind of had to happen. So more trades could happen. There was some other names we thought during free agency that could get traded. We'll have you covered, of course, if they do. There'll be in draft trades, of course. The draft in general is going to be absolutely wild, unpredictable. We're here to cover it. I'm really excited about it. So, Join us for all that. We already got a bunch of that content on the channel, so make sure you subscribe, check it out, smash the like button. Absolutely must follow that Twitter, in my opinion, at Goathouse NFL. Pinned a link and other links that you may need in the comment section here on this video, so check that out. But that's going to do it for this one. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.